It's a great pleasure to be able to wish the Center for Economic and Social Rights a very happy birthday. 25th anniversary is a major achievement. I'm not sure that when it was set up back in 1993, we necessarily expected that it would have not just such a long life, but such a major impact on the field. It has had the great benefit of the founders, Chris Joknik, Roger Normand, Sarah Zaidi, and their vision. It's had a series of key staff members who have contributed immensely to it. And more recently, it's had the immense benefit of Ignacio Saiz as its executive director. Ignacio has done an absolutely superb job in expanding the focus of the organization, making it ever more relevant to a lot of the really central debates that are going on today. So congratulations to all concerned, and of course to my fellow board members. It's really been a great honor to work with such a distinguished group, and I think the board has over the years made a significant contribution. It's often been said, and I think that's right, that if CESR didn't exist, it would have needed to be created. For a very long time, it was one of the few organizations looking systematically at economic, social, and cultural rights. It still is an absolute leader in that field. But since then, I think it has distinguished itself even more by looking at the broader range of issues, first of all those directly linked to human rights, such as the question of what resources are available to frame the obligations that states have in this area, and secondly, how can redistribution take place in order to make sure that there is a degree of equality that people are able to enjoy their basic social and other rights. But of course, it's also made a really original and very important contribution in looking at a range of economic and fiscal policy issues. These are the classic issues which, in my view, are absolutely central to so much that goes on in the human rights area. It's often been said that if you want to know what's going on in a country, if you want to know what its real values are, look at its tax policies. Most human rights organizations don't want to do that. They either think that redistribution issues are off their agenda, they think these matters are too difficult, they assume someone else is doing them. The reality is they're not. And it's only if groups like CESR really get into these and start making important contributions to a better understanding of how we can link the human rights policies that we need to promote to the broader economic and fiscal and financial steps that are being taken globally that will really get to the key issues. There are, of course, many explanations offered for the wave of populism that's sweeping the world today. But in my view, clearly one of them is the extent of inequality, is the neglect of the working class, certainly those living in poverty. And it's only by addressing the sort of issues that CESR takes on so well that we're really going to make progress. So happy birthday. Congratulations to all involved. I wish I could be with you. It's an organization that has achieved a huge amount in 25 years.
So I am so happy to be able to send this message to congratulate Center for Economic and Social Rights on 25 years of amazing work. Being on the board of CSR is not like being on the board of any other organization. It's really the development of the organization has so coincided and overlapped and been intermingled with the development of my own professional life. I should say I want to apologize publicly to Roger Normand on this occasion, an apology that's probably about 27 years overdue, because when we were on the Harvard Human Rights Journal together and you were preparing for that Harvard study group in Iraq, I undoubtedly was overly crabby on many occasions because I didn't understand the significance and how visionary that trip was and how visionary the work of CESR would become. The idea that effects on water and education and infrastructure were not just secondary casualties of war. And then later what Paulina and Chris did with CEDES in Ecuador on extraction industries, that those policies and the impacts they have can be categorized as injustices, was a tremendous breakthrough for the field. And as CESR has evolved, it has developed extraordinary methodologies and metrics to evaluate the effect and impact of different policies and policies that are based on human rights. It has also developed guidance about what a tax policy that follows, that is consistent with human rights principles, would look like. And importantly, I think in recent years, this has even become more noticeable and important. CESR has really bridged the human rights field and the development field, pointing out very appropriately where the Millennium Development Goals or the Sustainable Development Goals are not being implemented in ways that are consistent with human rights. So again, I'm just so proud of CESR and all that you've done. And right now in this world, when we face the perils of populism and egregious global and national inequalities, CESR could not be more necessary. So happy birthday and many happy returns.
Hello everyone, greetings from India. First of all, very hearty congratulations to CESR on this very important anniversary. I apologize very much for not being able to make it, but I'm happy to be able to join you for a few minutes to reflect on the remarkable work that CESR has done over the years and why it is a great sense of pride for me to be a member of the CESR board. We hear quite a lot these days about the demise of human rights and the general assault on the rights of people all over the world. There's quite a lot of scaremongering and doomsday predictions, particularly coming from scholars in the US like Samuel Moyn. And the first message I would want to convey is that this is all false. It's not based on a clear understanding of what is happening around the world. I'm traveling to many countries doing training on human rights, and I'm amazed and inspired by the amount of resistance that I see even in countries that have very difficult authoritarian governments. People, movements, campaigns all over the world are using the human rights framework. They're reaching out to the United Nations, and there is a tremendous upsurge of activities around the world. And I really appreciate CESR's path-breaking work on income inequality, on taxation. But I would also like to convey the message that as an organization committed to the promotion of economic, social, and cultural rights, the core activities must include support for and strengthening of the UN human rights system, whether it's the work of the treaty bodies, the special rapporteurs, the Universal Periodic Review. I think all of us need to come together to strengthen the UN. The Universal Periodic Review in particular is showing tremendous resilience and response. And I feel that all of us have to come together to work more on that, to work more at the national levels. And that's the work of CESR that I've always appreciated over the years. And to be hopeful, to be optimistic, and to keep moving forward collectively. So congratulations to CESR on this important event, and all the best for a wonderful evening. Thank you.